the Audi RS6 C7. A question I've been asked quite literally twice is what's it like to own an Audi RS6? So how much do they cost? So on the second-hand market, you can pick these up now between sort of 30 to 40,000, obviously depending on year, mileage, etc. This one behind us is on a 2014 plate. It is done 60,000 miles, and we picked it up for about 35,000, which I think, car for the money, it's really good. I mean, I think you'd be pretty mad at the minute to go out and buy the C8 version, which is well over £100,000. Tax, it's going to cost you £710 a year just for the road tax. That is tax band L for loser. Shh. So the insurance is in category 50, which is the highest group. So when it comes to insuring one of these privately, it's going to cost quite a lot of money. Obviously service costs are going to be high as well. Tyres, they're going to come in at £300 a corner. Pirelli P0s, which have been specifically made for the Audi RS6. The spark plugs alone are about 250 quid. Brakes, if you're going to buy them direct from Audi, it's going to cost you over £1,000 per set. You will be able to get aftermarket ones cheaper, obviously, but would you be putting aftermarket brakes on a performance motor? Don't know. Check out that bad boy. What have we got in here? It's a 4-litre V8 twin turbo. Let's have a look at the turbos because they look wicked. So we just pop that off like that. There we go. Let's all get dirty. Look at the size of them. Crazy really, because these are water cooled, and some of the smaller FSI engines suffer with the O-rings leaking in here, but these ones don't seem to be a problem. I'm not 100% sure why. One of the biggest things to make sure has been done on these engines is they had a recall for an oil gauze, and basically this gauze can block up and it starves the turbos of oil, and we all know what happens. Boom. This one's not the performance model, so standard we've got 560 horsepower in this. They're pretty good when you remap them. Just pop him back on. There he is, look. Lovely. Make sure the recall's been done if you're interested in buying one of these. This one has been done, apparently. It's also got launch control. Obviously it's a very wide car as well, so you need to be super careful, as Tia found out on our gate post.
So I was pulling the car on the drive and this lovely
came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Fence post just jumped out and scratched the side of the car. We have got a photo, because I've got a photo of it, which I'll put here.
And those 21-inch wheels are like magnets to curbs.
So I've been using the car recently for commuting to work. The commute's roughly about an hour. So I can actually leave 20 minutes later than I normally would and still get there on time. Really comfortable drive. We can put the golf clubs in it. Gearbox is silky smooth. The change between the gears is fantastic. This one improves with the colour of the car as well. I can get there super fair. From the 4-litre engine, the power is just unreal. It's a fantastic drive. I mean, especially if you're into your cars, it's a no-brainer in terms of driving. You
may know on Rolls Royces they are famous for having umbrellas in the doors. Well, let me tell you something. Audi RS6s also have them in the doors. Electronic tailgate. Space for all sorts of things. And you could go to a garden centre and fill it with ornaments, a water feature. Always carry a diagnostic tool with you as well, just in case. We did have a weird code on it once, which was piston oil cooling, and it put the EPC light on straight into limp home. Cleared it, never did come back again, but a bit weird. But if you were stuck down the other end of the country without a diagnostic tool, you're going to be in limp home for the whole journey back. So always a handy tip that. We've done a full black pack on this one. Link to that video in the description. Usually RS6s would have the signature chrome wing mirrors, the brushed chrome wing mirrors. We've changed ours to carbon fibre, looks way better. Got rid of all of the chrome on the car as well, just smartens it right up. Pretty cool number plate, I picked that myself. We'll address the elephant in the room, which is fuel. Fuel consumption on something like this is obviously going to be incredibly high. You're going to be lucky to get about 300 miles from its 75 litre tank. And realistically, you're going to probably see around 20 miles to the gallon if you're driving it half sensibly. So when you're coasting along the road, the engine can actually shut off 4 of the cylinders to make the fuel economy even better, which is pretty clever stuff. So we've owned the car now for about 8 months, and for an all-rounder, I think they are superb. The power is fantastic. Obviously, it's got different driving modes, so you can flick between them. So if you really want an aggressive drive, you can put it into dynamic mode, which we'll show you now. On the menu here, we've got comfort, auto, dynamic, individual. Comfort is 99% of the time is what you're going to use driving around. Softens up the suspension, makes everything pretty silky smooth when you're driving it. Auto is it adapts itself to how you're driving. Dynamic is essentially a race mode. It gives you full throttle response. It stiffens up the suspension and lowers it slightly, and you get full power of the engine as well. So let's get it into that one now. So as you're driving along, you can just tap this down and that puts it straight into a sports mode as well. So let's get on the road and we'll show you what this thing can do. Zero to tasty in 3 seconds.
It's important to put E5 in these things.
I have to say, every time we get in the car, it's like pure excitement again to drive it, and there's not very many cars which can give you that feeling. It's a good all-rounder car. I mean, there's not many cars on the market which deliver supercar power for, you know, around £30,000. You can put all of your luggage in the boot, get your family in the back, and it will still do lots of fast things. It's a practical performance family car.